For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
What can we learn from ongoing political events in the UK? Also, was there a blunder on the part of the authorities in appointing an individual to the Senate? Is there a conflict of interest? And what does an MP, a Conservative MP backbencher in the UK, what has he said that certainly has a lot of meaning for us, or ought to have a lot of meaning for us in St. Lucia, in particular our elected officials? Is that MP saying something to us? And that's MP Charles Walker, Conservative backbencher. And all what's happening in the UK, he comes across as being frustrated. But just imagine if he's saying those words, echoing those words to our politicians in St. Lucia.
I've had enough. I've had enough of talentless people putting their tick in the right box, not because it's in the national interest, but because it's in their own personal interest to achieve ministerial position. I've had enough. I've had enough of talentless people putting their tick in the right box, not because it's in the national interest, but because it's in their own personal interest to achieve ministerial position.
His name is Charles Walker, and his words are not aimed at the politicians in St. Lucia, but those in the UK in light of the turmoil that has certainly bedeviled the Conservative Party on the verge of having yet another Prime Minister, the third Prime Minister in about 8 weeks. And talking about the Prime Minister Liz Truss, we'll hear from her in just a moment, and we'll localize part of a statement that she issued when she announced her resignation. But first, our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day. What can we learn from the political events in the United Kingdom? What can we learn from the political events in the UK? And we have a Sprinkling of comments, just a few. Somebody says, what exactly would you expect St. Lucians to learn with the current political situation in the UK? Stay focused on the situations facing us in St. Lucia. You're effectively promoting the practice of deflection and derailing the nation. Another person says, stay focused. Do not be sidetracked by irrelevancies. For example, the matter regarding the PC, where it rightly belongs. Let us get back to the funding for the HIA improvement project. They will not be around to account for their bad decision. Already, we have seen that the chair of that committee, who was said to be independent, is far from that. If they would lie about something that is easily laid bare, what wouldn't they lie about? Focus must be the byword. Be aware that the press is not your friend. Call them out. Behind or remind them that they are not a government department. Press the press. And finally, with regard to our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day, what can we learn from the political events in the UK? Somebody says, know your capacity and your capabilities. Don't take on what you cannot handle. Liz Truss, and also pertains to Mr. Shastny. That's our responses to our NewsSpin Facebook question of the day. What can we learn from the political events in the UK? What can we learn? Is that politicians sometimes, they make a lot of promises. In the case of St. Lucia, when they do not deliver, what they do is to entrench themselves in their positions. Whether it's as Prime Minister, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Tourism or Investment or Culture, you name it. They dig in and they entrench themselves, they solidify their position, and they refuse to say that I did promise, I made an out, I cannot deliver, well, I'll resign or apologize. Because in St. Lucia, politicians do not resign, and they seldom issue apologies. Not the same in the UK, as we are learning. Because in the case of Liz Truss, she made certain promises, a mini budget was presented, she could not deliver, she fired her chancellor. Before you know it, there was a replacement in the Jeremy Hunt, and now there's been a revolt because not the opposition members alone that cried for her to resign or issued calls for her to resign, but her own colleagues in the Conservative Party. They are the ones who said, you just don't have it, you don't cut it. And our constituents are suffering, and as a result of that, you have to go. How many MPs in St. Lucia? They are part of a cabinet, and they know that the decisions that are taken by the Prime Minister of the day, those decisions are affecting their constituents, cannot put food on the table, cannot address issues relating to unemployment. They're not, the Prime Minister of the day not taking critical decision to address the crime problem. Those MPs will openly be in defiance of their leader and Prime Minister because they know their fate. But as is being demonstrated in the UK, strength in numbers, and those politicians and the Prime Ministers, at least they have a gumption of a conscience, and therefore believe that, you know, they don't have it, they don't cut it, and they have overwhelmingly lost the support of their colleagues. They resign. In St. Lucia, that obviously is not the case. Let us listen to the Prime Minister of the UK, beleaguered Prime Minister of the UK, Liz Truss.
Given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
So that's Prime Minister Liz Truss, soon to be former Prime Minister of the UK. I went through the editorial of the Barbados Today newspaper, and the headline is Lessons to Learn from Britain's Political Turmoil. But there's just a part I'll read to you because I know you would probably try to access that article on your own and read it in its entirety. But there's a part that's relevant. It says there, however, in Barbados, could be, however, in St. Lucia, we allow politicians from both sides of the divide to overstep and only hold them accountable during a general election. That should not be. Our system should be designed so that a politician who missteps, who takes the public's trust for granted, or who does not fulfill a mandate or promise made to the electorate should do the right thing. That is where our governance system must be. Mr. Producer will put the card on the screen and I'll read it again. In Barbados, so it could be in St. Lucia. Let's just assume in St. Lucia, making reference to St. Lucia. In St. Lucia, we allow politicians from both sides of the divide to overstep and only hold them accountable during a general election. That should not be. Our system should be designed so that a politician who missteps, who takes the public's trust for granted, or does not fulfill a mandate or promise made to the electorate should do the right thing. That is where our governance system must be. Part of the editorial of today's edition of the Barbados Today newspaper, the headline, Lessons to Learn from Britain's Political Turmoil. Let's open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. That's 716-2026. Still to come on the program, we have a government senator appointed, and that is Alison Jean. And she is also the Chief Executive Officer of the NUC, the NURC. Now, the NUC is responsible for regulating water, sewage, and electricity. In a moment, I'll make reference to the legislation that guides the work of the National Utility Regulation Commission and what it says about the CEO, etc. And whether we will try to determine whether there's been a conflict of interest in having Mrs. Alison Jean as the CEO of the NURC and also a government senator. But in the meantime, we will take your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. I'll go through some of your discussions in the chat room as well. So let me see if I have any of your messages so far. What is being said? Yeah, nothing from you to date via your WhatsApp messages. And let's see if we have a few of your comments in the chat room. Somebody says, when Chaslin said he would bring the price of gas down, the documents on his desk, we should have taken him out long before election. Do you agree? Another comment, it is only MPs that think like Rick Wayne that will act that way. Whatever way, I don't know. Let's see if we have some more of your comments in the chat room there. People are not supposed to sit by and accept mediocrity, suffer in silence, and protect the victory. Cultish behavior. And let's see if we have some more of your discussions in the chat room. Not so lively today, but I suspect a little bit later as we progress, we will be receiving some more comments from you. Okay. Let's see there. Any more of your reactions in the chat room? Okay. Nothing substantial so far. Let's see. All right. People are just saying hi and hello and good afternoon. Somebody says that, Tim, at least the UK people are voicing their disapproval. They are not sitting by waiting for 5 years to do something about poor leadership. Another person says, it's not the UK people voicing disapproval, it's her own party. Tim, the press is part of the government. Haven't you noticed? All you guys do is read press releases and regurgitate what these fellas tell y'all. No research, no investigation. Well, I hope I'm not part of this group that you're making reference to. Maybe he's speaking to some other reporters. Another person says, okay, we've had that comment before. Let's see if we have some more of your comments. Any new comments coming in? Okay. Somebody says, jobs for the boys and girls who sat on and stifled projects under the previous administration. Okay, before we go into our other area of discussion, let me see. Somebody says, the good day, Tim. The people of St. Lucia can have things to go the way of the UK by sustained pressure on elected officials, seeing to it that they deliver on their promises. They need to raise the bar on what they expect from the people they give their vote. It would appear that we give politicians a pass. We ignore their shortcomings and their inability to deliver on promises that they have made, primarily on the basis of whether we support them or not. It's not about being impartial. It's not about the country. It is about supporting our party and what right now is en vogue, and that is protecting the victory. We have a call via WhatsApp as we say hello. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm there holding on, Tim. Tim, I want to address Lucy Lake. Tim, you know it's almost 4 years or could be more that Lucy Lake has a problem, they say, with mold or whatever at their main office in Sanssouci. Okay, Tim? That office is closed more than it's open. That office just opened a couple months ago, it's closed again. I mean, Lucy Lake don't realize the inconvenience they cause to customers when you have to go all the way to Rodney Bay if you have a problem with your bill. Sometimes when the thing is in town, like where it was in Sanssouci there, at lunchtime, you have a little time you can run to Lucy Lake, correct whatever problem with your bill. You can run, things like that. Now for you to leave Castries, even though you have your own transport and drive up north with all the traffic, it's an inconvenience. I mean, Lucy Lake makes enough money where if they have a problem with that building, with mold, I mean, relocate your staff. Get a place in town, an office space, and relocate your staff. Because it's not fair to consumers for them to have to commute all the way to Rodney Bay in all that traffic. Sometimes a whole hour, you get to go back another whole hour to come back in that traffic. And Lucy Lake is just not taking customers into consideration. Lucy Lake is making enough money where they can get close that building if there's a problem. And get a place, put your staff there. Think of your consumers. I mean, that's not the right thing. Don't you agree with me, Tim? I mean, maybe it's not affecting you, but I know it's affecting a lot of people.
Well, Carla, a lot of people do their transactions, connect their transactions these days online. And also there is Shopee. Now, I seldom have any reason. I seldom have any reason at all to go to the head office at Sanssouci. Yes, Carla, I'm listening to you. Yes, ma'am.
Pay your bills online. You can go to Shopee to pay your bills. But when you have a problem with your bills, with your payments, you have to go to the office to get it sorted out.
I think there are certain, yes. But there are certain numbers I think you can call as well.
Yes, you call the numbers and they tell you have to come in, you have to come.
Okay.
Come if your receipt, come and sit, and they sit with you and whatever. I mean, Lucy, like, come on, man. And I wish most St. Lucians would have come out and talk about that. Because, I mean, it's not affecting me personally. But I feel for the other people, you understand? Somebody living like maybe where, let's say, in the valley, and they have a problem with their bill, they have to take a bus from the valley, come to Castries. When they get to Castries, they could just walk up to Sanssouci. They have to take another bus, which will take another half an hour to get to Rodney Bay. Lucy, like, wake up, man. Think of your consumers, think of your customers. Get a building somewhere close in Castries where it will be easier for people. St. Lucians start to speak up, man. I find right now St. Lucians is tolerating too many things happening, and we're just there. We're just there. Tim, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. We have another call in line. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, what I have to say, Tim, we have prisoners remain in prison for 7, 6, 8, 9 years in prison, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tim, the case are calling. But watch a case with and Alan Shati. It has now 3 years, 4 years in prison, have a case there. And all the time Shati was in power, the case was going for next time. As Labour win election, the case called and dismissed one time. Why things like that happening? And we have prisoners in jail there for 7, 8, 9, 10 years remand, and the case kept calling. But portion case calling and dismissing right away. They are right on him. Thank you.
Okay, that matter was settled through mediation, caller. All right. Let's see if we have another call where we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says they just like they didn't appoint a president of the Senate and yet they have a deputy. So since yesterday's broadcast, and I'm sure that many of you are privy to the information now, the decision was taken not to elect a president of the Senate because of the absence of another senator due to illness, and that is Lisa Jawahir. So who knows come the next sitting of the Senate, and if she's available, if all the members of the Senate are available, who knows, the vote will take place then. So continue with that contribution. Somebody says, how can Mrs. Jean hold those two positions? What does the law say about that? We should be in a position to take the government to court for all the cart before the horse things they're doing. We are in lots of trouble, shaking my head. Once again, more of your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. 452, okay, I think somebody from Lucilec will be calling the broadcast. If you care to, we'll take your call right now. So again, 452-2979, that's 452-2979, 716-2026 via WhatsApp for your WhatsApp messages and WhatsApp calls. Because the person is saying our office does not have mold. Okay, so hope that individual will call us anytime from now to clear the air on that matter. Somebody else says, Tim, further to the debate on the deputy president issue yesterday, both positions are elected by vote among the anointed or appointed senators. So the deputy cannot automatically become president, even if the president's post is vacant. In regard to Lucilec building, they probably need to knock that building down and rebuild it. It has been many years of dealing with issues of that nature. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello? Okay, we lost that call. All right, let me see if we have any more of your messages. All right, we have a call coming in. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, team.
Good afternoon, caller.
When Alvina Reynolds was speaking to the media about the reasons for not selecting a president of the Senate, she did mention that it's because Lisa Jawahir had been in contact with somebody with COVID.
Right.
However, Lisa was among the members of the media. I saw it. She was in the crowd.
She was in the crowd yesterday?
Yeah, when you replay that clip, Lisa was there among the media.
Okay. Well, that is strange.
I saw it. You could look at the.
Okay, so is in Alvina Reynolds made reference to her being ill. She did not specify the nature of the illness. No.
No.
Okay.
I'm sure she said she had been in contact with somebody with COVID.
Okay. All right.
You can have a look at it.
And I suspect who that individual is. But if that is the case, then she should not be out there among the reporters, journalists.
She said Jawahir, and Jawahir was right there. You can have a look at it.
I will do that.
Just wanted to point that out.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says there, Tim, St. Lucian politicians are like the West Indies cricket team. Unreliable, not producing, and sometimes they show promise because they win a match against Scotland. They won a match against Scotland, then they lost against Ireland, and now they are out of any effort to make it to the T20 World Cup after having done so well, winning 2 T20 World Cups under another captain, Darren Sammy. We have a WhatsApp call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, good day to me.
Good afternoon to you,
Just
sir.
some clarification. In regards to Lisa being president, the first clip was an old clip. And if you watch like the clothes Miss Reynolds was wearing, it was both pink, but one of the clothes had black in it. So they showed the old clip where Lisa was present, but while she was doing her interview, she had a different clothes and Lisa was not there. So just for clarity.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So who knows the footage that was shown of Lisa Joyer was file footage. Maybe it was file footage, meaning that would have been video, would have been recorded several days or several weeks, maybe several months ago. We have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You on the air. Hello. Good afternoon. Okay, let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, come hell or high waters, the vote for president must take place. Otherwise, they will be in breach of the Constitution. That must take place at the next sitting, according to a contributor. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
When a man great, he great. When a man great, he great. Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bermuda. What would cause you, sir, to start your contribution that way? When a man great, he great.
I'm talking about a great man. We only got one great man in St. Lucia, Sir Alan Michael Shasta. When you see a lion sleeping, don't pull its tail. I've been saying for years.
Okay, hold on. Somebody says, yeah. So they won against the West Indies, one against Zimbabwe, not Scotland. Thank you so much for the correction. Continue, sir.
I've been saying that you put all those guys in parliament, they cannot make one Alan Shasta. Soon from now, you know what you're going to see? They're going to stop showing up at the house, believe me. That one man will stop them coming to the house. Because they cannot debate with him. They cannot. Because let me tell you something. SFP was getting away with that for a long time to debate. Only one man in SFP could debate. Only one man could in SFP go on a debate. That's that Kerry Anthony. Kerry Anthony alone. The rest are jokers. He's not a good leader. He was never a good leader, but he could debate. The rest, they can't hold Shasta. All of them combined. First thing, he figured out with the laws. He come one time telling people, oh, I am not going to pay Shasta. I am not going to pay the great man. And that doesn't even come under him. You know what I'm saying? No, they want to bring him in some mini court or kind of crap. And the big man say, yeah, you want to mess with me? You think I am Von Lewis or Stephen the King? Come on, bring it on. We can see who's who now. They're all running back in the tail between their legs. I have confidence in that man. When we done with the SLP, they'll be walking up that whole assembly. Let me tell you something, King, Tim. And I blame the press down there. I blame the press, the journalists down there. Because they asked the SLP, they asked the flowers. Mind you, I'm not a flower. I am not an SLP. I'm for Shasta. They asked the flowers all the questions they want, all the questions, bring them an interview them and everything. And not one shall bring SLP police stations to them because I have questions to ask them. Not only me, other people have questions to ask them. No, it's only flowers tasting the music. But the people don't hear you what SLP got to say. Because, let me tell you something, in a real country, journalists set up scaffolds for your house and everything, man. And cameras are ready for you when you walk out your house. No. Majority of the journalists down there, they're scared of the SFP, they're afraid of the SFP. They need a man like me as a journalist, a man like me. I would carry mango trees and coconut trees to get the interviews. This man just walking the street like nothing happening. And they're doing the most crap in the Caribbean. The worst government in the world. They cannot produce a job for nobody. Nothing they can do. Huh? What have they done? All the promises they made for the people. Not one thing that they produce, that they've provided. Not one. And y'all don't talk about a whoosh. What did you do for me? What have you done for me? That's my question to you. What have you done for me, sir? But what have you done for me? Huh? Let's look at those guys get away. Bare murder. Let me tell you something. If a minister in Bermuda is away, in Russia, or on the moon, and something happened under his ministry, do you know that the journalists down here, they don't wait till they come back to Bermuda, you know? They're calling you over there, man. They're calling you over there. They don't let you land back in Bermuda. They're calling you over there. But the guy's walking next to y'all. Your job is to give us the news. You're walking next to the ministers, the SFP ministers and MPs are running from y'all. I don't know they're good. They're good what? I can tell you in Barbados, that SFP will not get 25 votes. The whole SFP will not get 25 votes. You know what I tell you? In Bermuda, tell again. In Bermuda and Barbados, they will not be in politics. Period. You're making them look good. I think just getting onto the licks. I think getting a lot of licks as you do. As a leader. But he's one man you know that could debate. The rest is trash. I can debate with those guys. And I ain't been to no college. I ain't been to no secondary school. I can debate with them. I beat them. It's time that you journalists grapple them by the collar, put the mic in the nose in their face, build scaffolds, take out the house. That's what you do as a journalist. But you've got those guys living, big shot, man. All the answers coming from Slomo. Shots they answer every question, and they don't answer not one question. You know what I tell me? And they still win the elections. You know what tells me? Again, the stupidity and gullibility of solutions.
But you know, you incensing, Mr. Bermuda, you're incensing so many people in St. Lucia whenever you call those people stupid.
I don't give a damn.
Okay.
I don't care about that.
I mean, for example, I could tell you my producer is not pleased because he is not an individual who is stupid or gullible.
Okay,
but when you say St. Lucians, I mean, in every country, caller, in every jurisdiction, there are people you can consider to be not wise, not so wise, not enlightened. There are some people who are gullible, but not all.
Besides fooling them every election, with the same thing every election. This year they say I'll put $100 million in the economy. Next election they put $200 million in the economy. They ever produce. They don't produce. They're bullshitters.
Okay, Mr. Bermuda, thank you so much. Have yourself an enjoyable Friday and a great weekend. Still to come. Whether you can be the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the National Utilities Regulatory Commission, and also a government senator. We'll discuss that in just a moment right here on NewsSpin. You're watching the broadcast on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as on YouTube and listening to the program on Power 97.9 FM.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Salu's gas station on the Mico Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Lucelec is advising customers and the general public that its customer service office at Sans Souci is closed until further notice. The closure is out of an abundance of caution for the health and safety of staff and customers to facilitate unforeseen remedial work to address air quality issues resulting from some equipment failure. The company's customer service offices in Rodney Bay and Viewfort and its remote options are all available to serve the public with Lucelec's full suite of services, including bill queries and payments. Lucelec regrets any inconvenience caused to its customers and thanks them for their patience and understanding.
We heard you, and now we are answering. Elks City of Castries Cooperative Credit Union is happy to offer you, our valued customers, the most amazing deal to own your piece of St. Lucia. From now until December 31st, enjoy an interest rate of 4.5% with a deposit of 5% to help you purchase house and land only, or put up a structure on your existing property. And it gets better. Legal fees are included in your mortgage. Call us at 452-6820 or 453-2951 or email us at info@elkscreditunion.com. Terms and conditions apply. Elks City of Castries Cooperative Credit Union, building a stronger community, one member at a time.
Come savor the flavor of 14 of Rodney Bay's best restaurants. The Bay Gardens Resorts presents Taste the Bay Food Festival, a culinary extravaganza you don't want to miss. November 27th from 11 a.m. at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. Taste the Bay Food Festival, powered by Banca St. Lucia. For more information, contact the Bay Gardens Resorts at 457-8535 or check out our Instagram page for more updates. Taste the Bay Food Festival, November 27th, 2022, Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa.
Corporate Communications Officer is online, and they're talking about Miss Kami Joseph, as we say hello and good afternoon to you, Kami. Welcome to NewsSpin.
Thank you, Timothy. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers. Thank you for having me and for giving us this opportunity to address the concerns raised by one of your callers at the start of your show. The caller spoke about two things. So I think that because she spoke about customer service and the ability to actually contact Lucelec and conduct business with us. And she also made reference to the Lucelec Sans Souci office, which has been closed for a few weeks now while we dealt with an issue. And it is very interesting because when we sent out a statement earlier this week about the closure of the Lucelec offices due to a security issue, there was some online chatter that perhaps we gave too much information. But there's a reason why in communicating with customers we try to be timely and open and honest, because we want customers to not have to speculate about what's the reason for the closure of any office or why they don't have the service that we pride ourselves on providing to them. That being said, when we closed the Sans Souci office on September 29, in our statement we did say, and the statement that is still being aired on all radio stations, including yours during your program, it was to undertake remedial work to address air quality issues resulting from some equipment failure. There was never any mention of mold in the building, because I think it's being said around the place. We hear the chatter as well. So I'd like to categorically state that the building in Sans Souci does not have mold. The building was not closed because of a mold issue. There was a fresh air intake system on the southern floor, the second floor, which is the actual floor where most of our customer services operate, where customers come in to pay bills and transact business with us. That air intake system had failed, and we sorted that out, and actually we were able to return it to normal within 4 days after the closure. But out of an abundance of caution, we did more testing, and we since undertook some deep cleaning, because the idea that the building has mold and then all of this thing has been going on. So I really want to address that issue. Any building, you might find mold or something inside or outside. That happens at your home, at anywhere where you operate your business. Deep cleaning addresses that issue, and continuous testing is how you find out that if there's mold or a piece of mold hanging around somewhere, there's no mold in the air, and that's what actually leads to the problems. So again, there is no mold in the air in the building at Sanssouci. This was some damage that was caused to an air intake system that we have since corrected. Lucilec now, because the building was closed and because we want to make sure that every avenue is explored for the safety of our customers and our staff, we wrote to the Labour Commissioner to require clearance to reopen the building. Our plan was to reopen next week, actually, and to the unions to represent our employees at the company. And the union has asked for a walkthrough of the building and to actually meet with the team who mitigated whatever issue that we had in there to ensure that everything is up to par and everything is working well. That meeting was requested, and we are going to accommodate that as soon as possible. Our plan going forward is to reopen the building in phases. The first phase is going to be to open downstairs to allow customers and our customer service team to be able to operate. And we also intend to just conduct routine deep cleaning of the building every 3 to 6 months, just to ensure that we stay on top of whatever issues may develop because of that. But again, Timothy, I like to reiterate, the building has no mold. Now, on the issue of customer service, we understand the inconvenience of customers not having access to the Sanssouci building. And one of the ways that COVID benefited Lucilec is that we introduced remote options for customers to conduct business with us. Now, I know that the customers say that sometimes they're calling and they're not getting through, but the phone numbers for our customer service officers, our customer service team members, is accessible not only through making a mobile call, but you can also send a WhatsApp message. And what we have found is that in addition to being reluctant to use that avenue, customers also do not want to use the email function. If you email customer support at lucilec.com, you are able to conduct all business with Lucilec. The only thing you cannot do through these remote options is to pay a bill. And for that, customers can use SurePay. Customers can also sign up for my account. We have close to 25,000 customers who pay their monthly Lucilec bills using our My Account service. It's free, it's easy to access, 24/7. You can pay your bill using a credit card or your online bank account. Now, at the risk of doing an ad for free on your station, Timothy, customers can also go to our lucilec.com website and access the virtual service desk, and you can access all our services through there. Now, when I say access all, I mean access all our services. If you want to make a new connection request, you can WhatsApp or you can email. You will be able to scan all the documents and send it to us, and all you have to do is to go into our office, which is the Rodney Bay office is open, so with our office in Bayford, and pay the deposit to have your new connection secured. So it is an inconvenience, and we apologize to customers severely for the inconvenience, and we thank them profusely for their patience and understanding. But we are working to ensure not only the safety of our customers, but also our team members. And we are working to make sure that the building is reopened as quickly as possible and that it will stay open afterwards.
Now, there's a particular, the first caller to the broadcast this afternoon is taking issue with people who want to interact in person with Lucilec employees if they have a particular concern. Maybe it has very often to do with their bills. They have queries with regard to the amount of money they are being charged on a monthly basis or what period for electricity. You can't settle those issues via an email or through a virtual platform. Those people want the personal interaction with an employee. Is that possible at all?
Yes, and I'm so glad that you asked that, because that is one of the reasons why our remote options are so interactive. Because if a customer has a bill query, many of the ways that the first thing that they're asking about is, what's the bill balance? I don't get my bills, I don't get the balance. We tell customers you can get your bill balance anytime by calling our automated account service. But if you sign up for my account, in addition to being able to pay your bill online, you actually get an email notification every month that your bill is actually, that you actually receive a bill. And what my account does is it actually allows you to see not only your usage, but it also allows you to see the bill amount. So you can actually monitor your usage and your bill amount over the past year. Now, if you require interacting with the customer service agent, Tim, I have used our service as well, in terms of the email as well as the WhatsApp services. What this allows you to do is you actually speak into a customer service agent, and based on your inability to communicate with us, we can always call you to follow through, and we have done that in the past. Because we want customers, because when you have an issue with a service provider, you don't want to just be able to make a call, and you want to be seen, you want to be heard. Customers can go to our social media platforms, they can use the WhatsApp platform, they can email us, they can go to our website. We have provided various avenues to conduct remote business, because we want you to feel as if you're walking into a Lucelec office and you're being attended to. And if none of these options work for you, you can simply call NewsSpin, and then Carmen Joseph will call and try to help you out.
But is there a particular number that people can call if they have any queries, any concerns? What are the numbers?
The numbers that I mentioned in terms of customer service, those numbers are operational, and our office is accessible remotely for the same operating hours as they would be if you actually walked into a physical office in Rodney Bay, or if you called or if you went to our office in Gayford. The numbers are 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or 285-3329. If all you want is your bill balance, you can call 457-4433. It is an automated account inquiry service. So you call in, there is nobody to wait, nobody will answer. You simply plug in your account number, you get the last payment that we received from you, and you are also able to get your bill balance. And Tim, one of the most important things I want to say about SurePay and Lucelec customers, before, if you went to SurePay to pay your bill, you had to pay your bill before 12 o'clock to allow Lucelec to receive your payment the same day as you made the payment. Lucelec has since extended that to 4 o'clock. What it means is that the same way that you walk into a Lucelec office and pay your bill between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., and that payment is automatically entered onto your account, it is the same thing for walking into a SurePay office. Any SurePay office where you make a payment between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., that payment is automatically entered onto your Lucelec account, and it goes towards the payment on that same day. The same thing applies to my account. If you make a my account payment between 8 and 4 p.m. during the week, it is processed to your account the same day. We put these things in place to ensure that customers are not any way inconvenienced, so that you feel like you have to go into the office to pay an arrears or to avoid anything happening to your account. No, if you make the same payment you would make in our Rodney Bay office, in our Gayford office, you can make it at SurePay, you can make it at my account. The payment will be received the same day and be processed to your account on that same day. If you have a bill query, you can reach out to us remotely using our numbers that I just said, either for WhatsApp or for calling, or you can email us at customersupport@lucelec.com, or you can visit our virtual service desk on our website. We will endeavor as much as possible to make it easy for you to access us, so we can provide the service that you require from us.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking with us on NewsSpin.
Okay, thank you, Timothy. Okay. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend.
You too, ma'am. All right, but our first caller who took issue with the services of Lucelec is back online, so we'll speak with her again via WhatsApp. As we say, good afternoon to you, ma'am. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air. Yeah, so you heard the explanation from Kami.
Online banking and email and all this kind of thing. Tim, the average person don't have access to these things, you know.
But there are telephone numbers you can call as well, caller. Right?
Yes, but Tim, the average person, the little lady coming from the countryside, not the average person, they have to think of that. She never addressed let me tell you, Tim, this office has been closed for years, you know, opening and closing. And I remember when they first closed, they said it was a mold issue. Look, she's saying it's an air air business.
Equality,
You understand? And it's
yeah.
not more. Okay. But what I'm trying to say, which she didn't address, if the place is closed, get another place in Castries where the people can access it easier. Then that's my point, you know, Tim. She beat around everything else, but she never addressed what I said about the distance to Rodney Bay. Because it's not everybody that know how to go on email and go banking online and these kind of things. And if you have a query on your bill and you call them, they ask you to come in. They ask you to come in because they need you to come in. If you're receiving something, they ask you to come in. So you still have to go to Rodney Bay. To solve that problem, when they close in their offices in Sanssouci for whatever reason, mold, whatever, air quality, whatever, open another place in Castries which is convenient.
But do you think
that is my point?
Do you think it will be practical, ma'am, to have another location, rent another building, another office space to conduct that kind of transaction?
That these people always opening and closing and opening and closing. I'm sure it's going on 4 years now. That building in Sanssouci, it closed for a year, it opened for 2 months. It just opened the day after it was closed for so long. Look, it closed again. So it's obvious there's a problem in the building. So get another location, and in the meantime, try and solve whatever is happening in the building. You cannot close the building and expect people to commute all to Rodney Bay and tell them go and bank online and go and do email and all these kind of things. You understand? And not everybody have access to these things. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a problem in that building for years now. Instead of opening it for 2 months and closing it for another year and thing, close it, do a good remedial job there, and in the meantime, get another place which is convenient for customers. That is what I was trying to say, and she never addressed that part of it.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. All right, thank you so much for your contribution. We have another call, and then we'll take a quick break. You're watching NewsSpin, listening to us. We have a call. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello? Hello, good afternoon. All right, Silicon will be focusing on possible conflict of interest right here on NewsSpin as you continue to watch the broadcast on Facebook as well as on YouTube and listen on Power 97.9 FM.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Lucelec is advising customers and the general public that its customer service office at Sanssouci is closed until further notice. The closure is out of an abundance of caution for the health and safety of staff and customers to facilitate unforeseen remedial work to address air quality issues resulting from some equipment failure. The company's customer service offices in Rodney Bay and Vieux-Fort and its remote options are all available to serve the public with Lucelec's full suite of services, including bill queries and payments. Lucelec regrets any inconvenience caused to its customers and thanks them for their patience and understanding.
Switching your mortgage is easy and hassle-free with First National Bank. Make that smart move today and enjoy an affordable interest rates, convenient payment plan, and other great benefits. Make your home equity work for you and get 100% financing. Call us today at 455-7127 or 455-7000. The time to switch is now. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
Bundle, yeah. Bundle, floor. Bundle, save. Tap up, yeah. Tap up, mad. Tap up. Look at the place covered. Browse all you want. Post all you want.
Win big with Flow! Tickets to the biggest shows, waterpark passes, costumes, over $20,000 in cash, data, and more! Activate a 3, 7, or 30-day combo plan. Pay up your bill, switch to Flow, bundle up your chance to win every
bundle, save. Tap up, yeah. Tap up, mad. Chop up. Look at the place covered. Browse all you want, post all you want. Look at the place covered. Do what you want, watch what you want.
Bundle now and get a smartphone for only $99. Switch now!
On Saturday, October 29th, come experience Bonjour Creole Breakfast Fete. Bonjour for the food, the vibe, and the frolic. Bonjour Creole Breakfast Fete featuring entertainment by superstar DJs, a live band, and pulsating solo. Saturday, October 29th, Andrew Treat Masqué from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Early bird tickets, $90. Regular, $125, inclusive of buffet breakfast. Dress code Creole Chic. Saturday, October 29th, Andrew Treat Masqué. Bonjour Creole Breakfast Fete. Vinny Amize Call. Sponsored by Power 97 FM, St. Lucia Distillers, Heineken, Peter & Company, and Blue Waters.
I, Alison Albo-Faja, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to St. Lucia, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of St. Lucia, and I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of St. Lucia. I do affirm.
Alison Jean taking the oath of office yesterday to become a new government senator. She is also the Chief Executive Officer of the National Utilities Regulatory Commission, the NUC. And the mission statement of the NUC: the NURC is committed to regulating the water, sewage, and electricity supply services so that all consumers will have access to a reasonably priced and reliable supply of high-quality potable water, sewage, and electricity services, and that service providers obtain a fair and reasonable return on investment. And some of the primary functions of the NURC are prescribed in the NURC Act number 3 of 2016. I'll just go through some of them. To advise the Minister on the formulation of national policy on matters relating to utility supply services. And remember, the Minister with responsibility for public utilities in St. Lucia is Mr. Stevenson King. Also, it says, to promote the efficient and economic development of the utility supply services sector, to establish, approve, monitor, and review tariff schemes and tariffs in accordance with any regulatory act, to ensure the protection of the interests of consumers in relation to the provision of the utility supply service, to promote competition and monitor anti-competitive practices in the utility supply services, and advise the competent authority responsible for the regulation of anti-competitive practices accordingly, and among others, to conduct research relating to utility supply services as may be necessary, to report to and advise the Minister on the economic, financial, legal, technical, environmental, and social aspects of the utility supply services sector. Some of the functions of the NURC prescribed in the NURC Act number 3 of 2016. Now, I went through the legislation that guides the operations of the NURC, and let me try to access it and make reference to some of the relevant parts, in particular those pertaining to the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. And Section 13, let's go through number 3B. Now, the Chief Executive Officer is also an ex officio commissioner and shall attend meetings of the commission unless directed otherwise by the chairperson, but shall have to have no voting rights in the meeting. Now, there's another section. There's section number 3, and that should be section 10. And it says there, Section 10G, that person, a person shall be disqualified from being a commissioner and is not eligible to be appointed as a commissioner, or having been appointed is not eligible to continue as a commissioner if that person, among other things there, is a member of Parliament. That is according to the National Utilities Regulatory Commission Act of 2016. Now, the CEO is what is being described as an ex officio member of that commission. Ex officio, what that means? As a result of one's status or position. So because she is the Chief Executive Officer, she also functions as a commissioner, ex officio commissioner of the NURC. Now the other commissioners are Mr. Albert Fridges, you have Mr. Andrew Antoine, Mr. Lawrence Nerve, Martin Weeks, Mitchelson Phillips, Vaughan Louis Fernand, and Mary Poleon. So that is an issue. I tried to get into contact with the Attorney General to get some clarification on this. Was not successful. And I also spoke with this government senator, Alison Jean, and a brief conversation, and the impression I got that it was not a conflict of interest. She did not see it as a conflict of interest at all. So a government senator who would be enacting certain laws, and very often, if you're on one side, which is the government, and the government is pushing a particular agenda, legislative agenda and otherwise, you're likely to support that is being promoted by the government. And we all know there's precedence to prove that if you do not support the government on a particular bill, and if you vote against the government on that bill, you are likely to be fired. This happened to Rick Wayne. I think it also happened to Patrick Joseph as well when they're serving as government senators. So I don't think that this one will disappear anytime soon. We'll continue to have discussions on it. Maybe the AG office will look into it as well. And they are the individuals who have the skill sets to deal with issues of that nature, of a legal matter. They will review it if they did not review it, and will be further educated on this matter amidst claims that there is a conflict of interest in that the CEO of the NURC, who is a member of Parliament, ought not to hold the two positions, government senator and CEO of the NURC. Your calls now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Yes, too.
Good afternoon to you.
Very interesting direction your show is going today. Let me take, first of all, that was Comey Joseph from Lucille, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was Comey Joseph, yeah.
Am I correct that when you first referenced the issue that you talked about today, that you talked about lack of security?
No, I did not make reference to lack of security. But the concern was made by a caller, our very first caller on the program.
I think there was some kind of a release or something you read that due to lack of security at some
yes, earlier this week. That was earlier this week.
In reference to what?
In reference to Lucille having to close the doors. No. You give the impression that I read it today. I did not read it today.
No. I said earlier in the week there was a press release on.
Okay, yes. Earlier this week, yeah. I think that was on Wednesday.
Okay, so on Wednesday we have a press release from the company saying, and that's a government associated company, yeah?
Yeah.
No?
Yes, it is. The government has shares there.
Yeah. Okay. So you have an excuse for lack of service based on lack of security. I remember it well because we particularly talked about the state of affairs in St. Lucia today.
Yeah.
Okay. Lack of security. I don't know that you spoke of mold. Did you also in that same release?
No. It was not addressed. No.
So
Nothing to do with mold. It came across. It was referenced by the first caller today on the program.
All right. The caller today.
Yeah.
And what was the other reason that Lucilla gave as I recall?
Today, Comey Joseph.
In your release?
No, that's the only reason I was given.
Wednesday.
That's the only reason that was given.
All right. Now, Tim, here's the problem. And I don't like to defend people's business, having been in business myself and so on. But some of those businesses, more than others, have this very important public image. People concerned about it. The matter of having lack of security is a concern. The matter of reported mold is another, and so on and so on. But whenever we hear from these companies, including the police team, we are hearing from image makers. Am I right?
Yes, we are.
We're hearing from the police press. Do you think the police press is going to tell us anything relating to why a number of homicides remain for years and years in limbo? You expect to hear that? And yet the people are demanding, a lot of people in St. Lucia, I will go so far as to say perhaps in the hundreds, are related to a number of apparently forgotten homicide cases.
There are many cases, yes.
Well, many. I like when you play it down. We talk about life and death. Better to exaggerate than to play it down. You know, you don't hear from the police in these matters, and when you go after them, they will send you to another impossible situation to talk to the DPP. Now, I heard you just mention also that you tried to reach the AG on a recent matter. Right?
Yes, an ongoing matter.
On an ongoing matter, and your answer, your explanation to your listenership, including Rick Wayne, is that, well, that was not
it was unsuccessful, sir.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Talk about euphemism and figure of speech and cover up and everything else. What does that mean, unsuccessful?
Well, I could not get into contact with him.
You could not reach the goddamn guy. Nobody can reach these important officials. Nobody can reach anybody important.
But listen, Rick. To be fair to Leslie, hold on. Hold on. I could have called the office, right? And I did not call the office. As a journalist, sometimes you want to call people directly to interview them, to speak with them. Calling an government department. I'm just adding to what you're saying as well. Calling a government department. Calling a government department. Calling a government department, Rick, is a waste of time. All right, to speak to a government minister. And very often, if you have a relationship with someone because of years of being in the business, you call them directly. So that's the reason why I called him directly, and I did not get into contact with him.
Since I am also involved in what you're talking there, I will be more clear to the general public. And if you and Rick Wayne can't reach these people, you think Miss Josephine Blow or Mr. Joe Blow has a chance, Tim?
You are correct.
Of course I'm correct, but those are things I want spelled out to the public so they know the mess we're in, the mess we have been in a long, long time, and that can only get worse and worse, not better, because it's not being addressed. Once you can be the closest friend of a politician, Tim. The minute he gets into office, his numbers will change for a lot of reasons. Number one, to avoid the press, but also to avoid all the people with their hands out.
Yeah.
All the people he made personal promises to, they don't want to talk to them anymore because they cannot deliver on any of those promises. And after that time, they run out of excuses, and so on and so on. So bottom line is, it will be like, it's taking water to the moon to reach the AG. The minute you become AG, you are incommunicado with the people. The minute you become DPP, you will issue press releases, or you might even call a particular.
But Rick, I don't want you to make this thing about an issue about the AG, because we are from the same.
I'm not dealing with your friend.
No. We're from the same area. We played marbles together and all that.
Okay, what's called played in Croatia. What I am talking about, I removed you from it. I said I am also involved in the business you're involved with and have been a long time. I removed you from it, you know. I'm talking of personal experience. And I said to you, if those guys will not take calls from Rick Wayne or Timothy Poleon, do you believe the average Miss or Mr. Joe Blow has the smallest chance? The answer is no. I'm not waiting for your answer. The answer is no, because usually those people are calling to ask about their dearly departed, their dearly brutalized, their dearly raped. That's what they're calling about. So they don't want to know. Or you have hacks or looking out for handouts. So in every event, they don't want. So all of them, Tim, all of them across the board, very few will retain a relationship, because I have with one or two. Okay, but out of all of those one or two, okay. So it's pretty sad that disconnect happens the minute these guys get into office. Then we got to the press relations officer, and well, not we, but most of the press over here depend, because they're lazy. I almost said the word that they get to others. Okay, they are lazy and incompetent, as are so many high officials in this country who are destined to put this country in more and more trouble every day because of their lack of judgment and their incompetence and their arrogance. Okay, so they're just flying in the dark on everything and totally insulting the intelligence of an unsuspecting people with their pretense. So the press relations officer, nobody will stop to think, well, that's press relations. They're not likely to tell me anything embarrassing to the police. An example of that is, I am totally, remember, I'm Barbarino. I'm so confused. I am absolutely confused, Tim, about that event with the guns and who did what and whatever. And you would have thought by now something would have been said clear enough for every jackass in the country to understand. I mean the actual jackasses on the Folex to understand. That's not the case, is it? We are still confused and still waiting for a final word on how that event was on for 1 minute and another for a minute. And don't tell me somebody addressed it, because the person who addressed it was in PR mode. Okay? Just imagine any breakout in that place and any gunplay. You know how many people would have died?
Dozens could die. Mm-hmm.
Or more.
Yeah.
So we take those things very, very lightly, and we go to public relations people for answers. Now, if Kami was one of us in journalism and so on, I can, well, we all welcome her. And
but Rick, Kami dealt with the facts.
I haven't said anything yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't said anything yet. Don't overdo the protection. I'm also media. I know Kami well too. And what I'm saying now has nothing to do with Kami as a person or an individual or anything else. I am saying when Kami comes, you notice the lady called and the lady was dissatisfied with the answer, because for her, Kami did not address what she was complaining about. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
So there you are. And that is not any incompetence on Kami's part. That's Kami doing her job.
Well, maybe again that issue is above a pay grade. That's the kind of question probably I would ask the managing director of Lucilec, whether there's need to set up another location where people can easily access the services of Lucilec in terms of paying their bills, in terms of getting their queries answered.
Tim, it is this spoon feeding that we do.
It's not, Rick, it's not spoon feeding. It's my perspective. It is my perspective.
Did you have the plural I used there?
The what?
I didn't. The plural. I said we, not you. And that we could be exclusive of you or inclusive. Well, you've just pulled yourself out. So fine. Okay. This we thing. I'm interested in that. Kami is doing her job. But we all have to know that Kami is doing her job best when she did what she just did there. Number one, she's expected, if there is anything about serious thing about mold, to deal with that in a PR person's way. She said nothing about.
She made reference to air quality, not mold. Categorically, there isn't a mold problem. I'm listening to you. That's why I could interact I could interject from time to time. You know, I am listening.
I respect that. I am saying to you, she did not talk about mold as the lady did. She talked about air quality.
Okay, enough of that Kami issue. You've dealt with it properly, Rick. Okay. Now,
no, I have not, but she's our friend,
Yeah.
and she's also a contributor to ads. So I understand all of that.
let's move on to Alison Albertha Jean.
I would be the last person to talk about Alison Alberta Jean because my estimation of the lady is not great, and I want to say up front that I would be prejudiced. So I'm not into that.
About a conflict of interest. No, you're not saying anything on that?
All right, let me talk about the conflict of interest. Some years ago on Talk, Agnes Francis was my guest, and she spoke something about a hotelier who occupied a particular position on the tourist board. You may remember that.
Yeah.
And she suggested that to her mind, this was a conflict of interest. And the next day, the guy called a press conference, resigned on the basis that conflict of interest is really a perception, okay?
What was that? That was Mr. Barnard, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And where there is the perception of that thing, as far as is concerned, that is, in that kind of work, politics and so on, perception is the reality, if you get what I want. So he didn't want to do that, and he resigned based on the perception of conflict of interest. I have sometimes modified my attitude to conflict of interest unless it's too blatant, because we don't have sufficient talent in the country to fill a possible available jobs. And once in a while, the two people we have or the one person we have also is involved. So the point in such cases is for them to be upfront in making known to the public everything they involved with that may be apparent in conflict with what they're doing. So I've kind of modified that. But that particular lady is a politician as far as I'm concerned. She's been on platforms, she has been permanent secretary, she has personal access to grind, she is also involved in St. Jude. All of those people in personally involved in a lot of and giving out reports and everything, so that you don't expect them to say anything contradictory of what they have said before and done before. You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
So it is I must say unfortunate, but I know it's calculated. It's calculated. Okay, the Senate is being used for, like the city council used to be used one time as a college for people in preparation for running for elections. Remember that?
Yes.
And the Senate now, I think it's...
Well, at the time you had local government, yeah.
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 And I think now the Senate has of late become a place for people to be dealing with prospects in elections later. They put them there for that purpose, and also for taking... I've always been against that. If the electorate rejects you as an MP, as a member of government, I really don't like the idea of you going back in there as a senator, because the electors have already rejected you, and you're putting them in the Senate, which is supposed to be one of the highest offices in the land. That's spitting in the face of, as far as I'm concerned, you get kicked out of your ministerial position in government, won't get a job. You know, as far as I'm concerned. But it's almost as if these guys are unemployable, but for the Senate, and that's a kick to me. So the suggestion of conflict of interest between the lady and it's getting to the point that you almost expect that kind of stuff then. So,
yeah. But if the act, the National Utility Regulatory Commission Act.
Yeah, but you went and asked her, and the answer she gives you, I don't see a conflict of interest. It's not for her to goddamn see or not see.
And she even made me. She referred me to the Act, you know, and the Act speaks clearly on this particular issue because the CEO.
And of course, you didn't have the Act handy to confront her with it. You would think that she knew the Act so well that she would tell you check section so and so and so. I've read it and I've made sure I'm clear it's not a conflict of interest. But conflict of interest has less to do with an act than it has to do with the perception of you.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the hell the act says, it has to do with the perception of you. That's the same point I make about people who go to court on all kinds of high charges and the cases for one reason or another fall apart or whatever, and they come and say the court this and that. To hell with what the court is doing. Is the public perception of you that will put you in that will think you're deserving of public office or not the result of a court case. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, the court of public opinion.
It's the court of public opinion that will make you effective in your job.
Yeah.
Not that you had enough money or enough pull to get away with something. Okay? It is the public opinion of you, the public's view of your reputation, everything the public knows about you that recommends you for an office in government or does not recommend you for an office in government. And until we start getting down to those kind of things, as Kenny Anthony says, we'll keep on electing garbage and expecting it to be perfuming. You know, we've got to make up our minds if we're going to put a stop to the nastiness or we're going to perpetuate it.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you.
All right, so our senior NewsSpin contributor, let's give him that designation. Senior NewsSpin contributor, former Senator Rick Wayne. You just heard from him there. Soon he'll be returning to DBS television with his talk program on a Thursday. But let's listen to a clip featuring opposition Senator Dominic Fede, but before him, the government Senator Alison Jean.
We have a Prime Minister in the person of Honorable Philip Joseph Pierre, the man from the east where I came from, the wise man, and I liken him to Moses. Wisdom. To Moses, who took us out of Egypt.
The new senator said Moses brought the people out of Egypt and crossed the Red Sea. But what she forgot to tell us is that Moses, Mr. President, took the people around the mountain for 40 years in the wilderness with very passive and unsuccessful leadership. But I'm going to tell you, through you, I'm going to tell them, Mr. President, a Joshua is coming soon that will march around the walls of Jericho and will take the people to the promised land.
That we have a Prime Minister in the person of Honorable Philip Joseph Pierre, the man from the east where I came from, the wise man, and I liken him to Moses. Wisdom. To Moses, who took us out of Egypt.
The new senator said Moses brought the people out of Egypt and crossed the Red Sea. But what she forgot to tell us is that Moses, Mr. President, took the people around the mountain for 40 years in the wilderness with very passive and unsuccessful leadership. But I'm going to tell you, through you, I'm going to tell them, Mr. President, a Joshua is coming soon that will march around the walls of Jericho and will take the people to the promised land.
452-2979. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. So, the upper chambers of the island's parliament, the upper house, that is the Senate, proving to be not as dull and boring as previous sittings. I think it's getting very, very exciting. Good afternoon to you, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Well, what's up? Good afternoon, Bob.
I'm okay. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, when you asked to agree the first caller, when he said about the select, Tim, for example, Tim, blue collar is empty, no? The collar is packing empty. What happened to this select consist of there for the time being to a drug business? Tell me. I mean, the collar is packing empty, so the select can go there, man, and get justice there for the time being, and then when they get the clean air in the building, go after the building. If you understand him, right? Now, Tim, the other thing, Tim, that thing there with the police and the gun team. I heard Mr. George Nicholas, I think, who is the Assistant Commissioner of Police, right?
Yeah.
There's a statement yesterday saying, well, they're investigating that. Tim, if the guy was not on the roster to work that night, How did he get the gun? Where did the gun come from? Who gave it to him? Is he a holder of a license firearm? I don't believe they're giving any police license for that kind of gun on them. So Tim, where did he get a gun from? Where? I want to know. I mean, that's a thing, you know. I want to know how he get a gun. Did he sign for that gun? Who gave it to him? Because if they say his name was not on to work that time, could they buy him? So is there a corporal in the army to just give people guns to go out and play the fool on moonlight? No one that will speculating fellas, police will sell bullets for fellas and lend fellas guns to do criminal activities. So right now, people have to be very careful.
Well, I hope there will be an outcome with regard to that particular investigation, because it's becoming the norm when the authorities tell you they will investigate, and we never hear an outcome. We never get an outcome as a result of that particular probe.
I think that's one thing. That's one as the only case, because you can't tell me if you're not there to work and you appear if a gun. You know, that's one thing we have to keep our eyes open on that case there. Because you can't be on a stage with a big gun and you're not supposed to be up there. Tell me, Tim, you tell me. Tim, because I have an idea about it.
Okay, you too, sir. Somebody says there in the chat room, the NURC, yes, Tim, very clear conflict of interest. This erodes the independence of the NURC, or the NUC, which is mandated to act in the interest of all parties, including the government, utilities, customers, investors, etc. It is critical for the NUC to retain its credibility and legitimacy, and appointing Mrs. Jean to the Senate destroys this legitimacy, credibility, and independence. 452-2979, 452-2979. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Listeners all over the world, PW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, the lady that called, Kame, is it, at Lucilec, is it?
Yeah. Kame Joseph,
Timothy. Timothy, whatever she explained there, Timothy, it is not as easy as she explained, you know, Timothy. That is not as easy as she explained, Timothy. You cannot have a situation where, you know, the Lucilec has an office in Beaufort, and then the other office is up in the northern tip of the island, which is in Grosley. You know, you have people from the surrounding district, Dennery, Miku. Sometimes you have people as far as Poleon. They have to travel long distances, Timothy, to get to an office for actually Lucilec. They have inquiry. So, Timothy, listen, Lucilec need to put it act together. You know, you take, for example, there are a lot of people in St. Lucia that are not Okuan, or they're not educated when it comes to going to pay a bill, and actually they need things to be explained to them. Take, for example, you call customer service, Timothy, and when you call customer service, Timothy, sometimes you take about almost half an hour to about 45 minutes before you get the line. What I wanted to ask Kami Joseph is, how many customer service reps do they have available to serve the public? This is one of the questions that I wanted to ask her. At the call center, or if they do have a call center, how many customer service reps they do have, because it takes forever to get in touch with a customer service rep. Timothy, they have what we call the first-time connection, Timothy. Sometimes the customer service rep tell you the documents that is required, and they leave out certain details that you have to present to get a connection. You're on a line, Timothy, for about 45 minutes, and when you get to the customer service, your actually documents is not in order. You're missing one piece of document, so you have wasted your time and energy at the at Lucilec, Timothy. So There's a lot happening when it comes to Lucilec. Lucilec need to actually have a customer service rep on the line. We don't always need a customer service. Not all the time we need customer service reps actually at the call center or on the phone. When the line has about 25 persons, Timothy, a customer service rep can come out and attend to at least why is the line so long? Can I help you? Can I help you? Timothy, take for example, at one time I was by a business place and they had over 30 people on the line, Timothy. And a customer service rep came out. And in 5 minutes, Timothy, there were 2 people left on that line. There were 2 people left on that line. They need to provide a customer service rep to take care of the line outside the offices, not just on the phone, Timothy. Lucilec need to do a better job than that, Timothy.
Okay, caller. All right, thank you so much. All right, let me go through some of your WhatsApp messages as we're getting all set to conclude the broadcast. Before that, we have our NewsSpin News of the Day. NewsSpin News of the Day. Liz Truss, eligible for ex-Prime Minister annual allowance of £115 sterling. Liz Truss eligible for ex-Prime Minister annual allowance of £115,000 sterling. And that is the NewsSpin News of the Day. Still to come, that's a fact. But first, some of your WhatsApp messages. Today is Friday, so let us try to go through those messages. And on Monday, when we start our program, we'll get some new messages to read on the air. Somebody says, Tim, as a young man growing up, I've noticed in St. Lucia, someone will spend over 20 years in the public service. As they retire and put on pension, they are hired by government to head boards or even drivers. Tim, where is the space for growth among the young people? That's a great observation. Let's see if we have another one. Somebody says the Lucilec building is non-functional for many years. Work on that building has proved futile, period. Demolition of this building is the only answer. Option, open another office in the city to provide better customer service. Another person says, Tim, I believe Mr. Bermuda is a NewsSpin sponsor because you're really giving him time on the air. He is a NewsSpin contributor in terms of his calls to the program and the observations that he makes. You might disagree with him, but we try to accommodate everyone in terms of their various contributions. All right, finally from us for today and this week, that's a fact. That's a fact. What can you find out by examining whale airwax? What can you find out by examining whale airwax? The answer? Scientists are able to determine the age of a blue whale by studying its airwax, which becomes dark during migration. Each pair of dark and light airwax layers represents 1 year of life. And that's a fact. The question again, what can you find out by examining whale airwax? Scientists are able to determine the age of a blue whale by studying its airwax, which becomes dark during migration. Each pair of dark and light airwax layers represents 1 year of life. And that's a fact.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact.
And that's also the broadcast for today and this week. Thank you so much for watching on our NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as on YouTube, as well as listening on the Power 97.9 FM. Coming up next, the Power Drive. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. And I'll be back, God willing, 12:30 in the PM on Monday with another program. Goodbye.